Hey, welcome back. Hope everybody is having a great Tuesday, and thank you so much for joining me talking all things Masters of the Universe. Today on the channel, guys, it's the ultimate look at Faker, the evil mechanic warrior, alright, from Skeletor's band of baddies. Alright, we'll look at every version of Faker for the past 2 days. For the next 2 days, we'll be looking at every version of Faker in the line, from his vintage 83 version, alright, and up to his newest vintage collection version from MasterVerse. Alright. Now, if you are new to my channel or first time watching, I hope you will subscribe afterwards. I hope you'll hit that like button, and thank you so much for doing that. Hit that notification bell when I upload new videos, and please share this video. Who has a passion and a love for collecting all things Masters of the Universe. Without further ado, let's take a look at Faker. And a couple of things to note, everybody. I do not, of course, own every version of Faker in the collection. I don't have the vintage version at all, unfortunately, which is a shame because he's my second favorite figure of all time. I don't have that version. I don't have the Leo version from the vintage line. All right, the 2000X line as well, and classics as well. So pretty much my collection starts with Origins. Alright, so today we'll look at, thanks to Pixel Dan, alright, and Dark Horse Comics, of course, the vintage versions of Faker, which is the normal variant, and the Leo version, alright, and all the Origins variants as well, through his first wave right here, to the Cartoon Collection, to the Mechanical Mimics right here, and we'll end the video on the Mondo version of Faker for part 1. And for part 2, we'll look at the 2000X version, the Classics variants, and all the MasterVerse versions with Funko Pop and some of my miniature versions of Faker. Alright. So starting off real good, guys, is the figure that started it off for us, right? Which was the original Faker that came out in 1983. And there he is, Faker right there. Came with his orange power sword. And it was 2 variants. The first variant had that squishy He-Man-esque head, alright? Then they changed it to a more hard head right there. And had larger feet as well. But there he is. Alright, and once again, a little fun factoid about Faker. You can see even the packaging. There's 2 different packagings with this version of Faker from the 83 line here. It says right here, it has nothing on right here on the left-hand corner, but it says right here he's back right there. And also there's a glamour shot right there. Interesting. So I guess this is the original version right here of Faker, and this is the more recent or update version they brought out later in life in the Motu line. Alright. I'm going to flip my book real fast, guys, because there was another version of Faker in the original line. Which was Leo Faker. And this is the only shot of Leo Faker I have. Now, it's some slight differences. And I do have the Leo Faker in Origins as well. Now, with this version, you have of course, the orange Havoc staff. You have, of course, the black like mask or darken of the eyes right there, even the sash that goes on the loincloth right there. It looks more of the like Skeletor vibe, all right, with this version of Faker here. All right, looking good. This Leo release. All right, now on to my actual first figure from Origins, which is, of course, the tribute, or of course, the original Faker, if you want to, the original Faker from Origins to mimic the vintage line. But it came out in 2021, right there, Masters of the Universe, Faker, the evil robot of Skeletor, which I never quite understood. I never understood that, the evil robot of Skeletor. You know, with the history with Faker, I believe, you know, the first time we saw Faker was, of course, the cartoon collection version, this one here. But I don't think he was ever a robot. He was supposed to just mimic He-Man to, I think it's in the back of this, right here, guys, sorry. Yeah, the shaping staff right here. To trick the sorceress, to open the source, you know, this Castle, you know, Castle Grayskull's gates. So he was never a robot. If he was, wouldn't he be the evil robot of He-Man and not Skeletor? I mean, he's got more of that, like, Skeletor look to him, yes, with the blue skin and the armor, but overall, it's basically He-Man. You know, so I'm always confused about that. Do you think it's supposed to be the evil robot of Skeletor or the evil robot of He-Man? All right? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's just something interesting to talk about. All right? But, of course, you have the red rocks blasting around it and got the retro play, and there he is in packaging right there. All right, of course, he's got, just like the vintage version from '83, he has the, you know, the Skeletor-esque orange armor. Of course, yeah, you got the blue skin. He's got the sticker as well. And he also comes with his own version of the power sword, right there. Purple boots. All right, and of course, the cross cell. I love this artwork here. I think this is so cool. I love it. I think you can see Ram Man and Man-at-Arms, right? Or I'm sorry, Ram Man and Manny-Faces, looking in the distance and seeing this shadowy figure of He-Man, which they think it is, and all of a sudden you see Faker jumping out of him about to attack. I love it. I think that is so cool. I think this is probably one of the best, you know, images, you know, of Faker here. It looks incredible. And there he is. You can remove the armor to show the recording device as well. All right, there. Of course, this is the cross cell of this line here. Got Fisto with the 2000X version of Evil Lyn. You have Lords of Power Merman as well. And also, there's another story about Faker and why he became a robot. Is that I always put this, I always think of the episode in Filmation where He-Man gives up his powers because he believes he's killed somebody, which he did not. All right, so he throws his power sword into the abyss to, you know, combat the evil warriors. Man-at-Arms creates these robotic versions of He-Man, while He-Man or Prince Adam tries to get his sword back. And there's a story where, you know, after that, you know, after He-Man or Adam gets his sword back, you know, in becoming He-Man again, those robots that were used got discarded, you know, in the royal trash, or, you know, and so Skeletor grabbed one of those robots and transformed them into Faker. All right, and I like that story. You know, that's the kind of story I like to put in my head when it comes to Faker here. All right, but amazing. And of course, I do have a loose version of Faker here. This version of Faker. My loose version of Faker is very minimum. I'm just realizing that, all right? But you've seen this version of Faker, you know, a few times on the channel here. And of course, he's on my custom-made version of Duplicat. But it looks incredible. Great face sculpt right there. This is where they updated the head sculpt for Faker. Can imagine if they didn't update the version, because you remember the first wave version of He-Man and Origins was so different. You know, and a lot of people did not like that variant or version of He-Man. Can you imagine if they didn't even change the head sculpts to more of the vintage look of He-Man? I'm kind of curious, I mean, how weird it would be to see that face sculpt on, you know, for Faker. You know, the Wave 1 He-Man's head sculpt, blue and orange and stuff like that. But looks great. I was really hoping, too, that we would have gotten a loose version of Duplicat in the line for us collectors. Alright, but still amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alright. So we'll get him out of the way real fast, everybody. Real fast. Alright. Let's see here. Get these guys out of the way here, too. We'll look at these guys tomorrow. My miniature figures of Faker here from the Revelation show, right? These miniature figures here. Now, the second version of Faker, because it's kind of interesting, because with Faker, you know, we have 3 different versions of Faker in MasterVerse, and, of course, 3 different versions in, of course, Origins, which I love. Now, hopefully, we'll get another version of Faker. No, no, because we got the Vintage Collection version of Faker. So I think we're done. I really do. Unless they come up with a new Eternia. I mean, we got 2 new Eternia's versions of Beast Man. You never know. You absolutely never know. We might get a Faker version in, of course, the Thundercats line. But the second variant of Faker was part of the Mechanical Mimics 2-pack, a very rare, very expensive, I think now. I don't know how much this is, but I think this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive or a PowerCon exclusive 2-pack here. And an absolutely amazing 2-pack here. All right, and here we go. From the artwork to the figures themselves. Of course, you got the Master of the Universe Mechanical Mimics right there. The dangerous doppelgangers of He-Man and Battle Cat. You got these. You have, of course, Snake Mountain with this very interesting witch right here. I don't know who this is, but it looks pretty cool. A nice shot right there of Faker and Duplicate, which mimics the Battlefield Warriors packaging with He-Man and Battle Cat. That was the 2-pack that had He-Man and Battle Cat damaged with blood on them. I think that was a Target exclusive. This image right here mimics that, and I love it. Of course, this came out in 2021. Wow, that was a long time ago. All right, nice shot right there, and there he is. Now this is Leo Faker, so they actually did a amazing job in giving us Leo Faker, and some slight differences, like I showed in the original Leo Faker. You can see the power or the Havoc staff right there. You have the, of course, Power Sword and the more of the sash, the Skeletor as sash on the waist right there for Faker. You got the black eyes with the red eyeballs, even the green eyebrows. You know, looks great. Of course, Duplicate right there. This is the only other cat in this universe. All right, unless you customize the Battle Cat or Panther. This is the only other set that has a brand new cat for the Origins line, and he also came with these cool robotic claws. All right. Now the back of this packaging is amazing. I gotta say, this is probably the coolest and the most amazing artworks ever. Look at this. I mean, look how gorgeous this is. I gotta back this up here. I love it. Look at this beautiful full-on image of Battle Cat, and you got Flying Fist He-Man right there. You got Duplicate and Faker, and you got Flying Fist He-Man. You have that Sorceress again right there, or that Witch right there. You got some creatures. You got Snake Mountain in the back. You've got the spirit of Snake Mountain right here, or maybe the spirit of Grayskull. Maybe, I don't know, but amazing, incredible look right here. Absolutely beautiful here. And also, too, everybody, at the end of this, from part 2, I will give you my absolutely favorite version of Faker in my collection, all right, overall, all right? And let me know in the comments below what's been your absolute favorite version of Faker. And that could be anything, everybody, from the vintage to, classics, to the 2000X, to Mondo, to anything, to MasterVerse, to Origins as well. Let me know what's been your absolute favorite version of Faker, right, in your collection, all right? Also to note, too, that the CGI line, unfortunately, did not have any 2000X figures. That's why I don't have any 2000X figures up here right now to do a review, all right? Fortunately, if the show had continued, maybe they would have done a Faker-esque version of He-Man in that CGI Netflix show, all right? But amazing, absolutely incredible. This right here, this mechanical mimics right here, and which leads us to our final version of Faker, which is the more filmation-based figure right here. There he is, right there, the very first. This is supposed to represent the very first time we ever, heard the name Faker with this figure here, this look right here. You got the white eyes, you got the She-Res 40th anniversary sticker. You have, of course, Hordak. You have that gorgeous shot right there of the Eternia or Grayskull being attacked by the Horde as well. You got the got the extra He-Man head, cartoon collection. You got the power sword for Faker. Of course, he was a part of the episode, the shaping staff right here. Skeletor in the background. Looking good. Alright, but amazing. And I do have that loose version. Alright. So the question is, why, if this was the actual version of Faker, right, why then did Mattel decide to make a blue variant of him? Alright, real quick. And the reason is to sell money, to sell figures. Because, if you already bought a He-Man version, in your collection, and you have, just because it's Faker, you wouldn't take them out of the packaging. It's basically the same figure. To sell more figures, make it as different as possible. So that's why, they made it blue, made his hair, skin blue, made his hair reddish orange, made the really cool, Skeletor-esque armor and stuff like that. It's basically selling, to sell the product, all right? Because this, which is still cool, right, which I do have right here, guys. This course, this right here led to all of this right here, all of these right here. Every variant, every version of Faker in this universe for over 40 years. This version right here started it all, right here. But it's so similar to He-Man that it probably wouldn't have sold, as much as this version would have. So we can all thank, at least I can thank, we all can thank this version of He-Man, starting off this incredible look of Faker for over 40 plus years. But there he is. And basically it's just a full-on repaint of the Filmation of the cartoon collection version of He-Man, minus the eyes right there. The eyes look really good, guys. Let me get that really close. I love it. Even though it's like painted white, it has a very cool glow to it. Especially in the light, on my camera here. I love it. Alright. And ending the video today, guys, of course, I only have 3 Mondo figures, guys, in my collection. And of course, Faker is one of them. Get him out of the way here. And of course, here he is, right here. Though this is a very unique, very cool version of Faker that I have in my collection. Alright, now I know the camera's kind of down here, guys. I'm going to stand up. Anyway, so here he is. Here's Faker, my Mondo version of Faker. Comes with a battle axe, his own version of the power sword. You can see the sticker as well. You can see this beautiful red ruby jewel in the center of his chest plate. There's his face sculpt right there. He's got the bluish toned skin. Now, I don't know. I'm sure there's other versions of Faker in Mondo. Alright, this is the only one I have. And we'll talk about this. Amazing. Now, he also includes, with this version of Faker, the classic variant of Faker as well. Alright, he also comes with extra weapons. He comes with a blaster, right there, and shield. He-Man-esque shield. Alright. He's got beautiful realistic fur like boots right here. The detail is amazing. The only setback about this version of Faker here is not the figure itself. The figure itself is amazing. It's the weapons. The weapons are extremely, extremely fragile. Alright, very brittle, very weak. In fact, the shield itself, as I was picking it up, the handle right here broke off. And it will keep breaking off. The handle on my sword broke off too, and I barely touched it. It is very flimsy. It's like almost like a very flimsy, very weak. It's almost like toilet paper in a way, but not like that. It's so brittle and like very thin, like a thin piece of wood, like a very rotted piece of wood. I can explain it, guys, with my version. I'm sure that every Mondo figure is different. But I'm telling you, man, it was, a nightmare trying to get these in hand right here. But I finally did, all right? But it does not take away from the figure itself, all right? The weapons, are amazing. But the overall figure and look of this version of Faker is incredible, all right? The detail is beautiful. Amazing. Turn him from the back here, guys. Hang on. There we go. There's his back right there, back shot right there. Got this very nice, like, soft goods, you know, leather type of cloth right here for the figure. But amazing, absolutely amazing. All right, guys. But there you go, guys. That's part 1 of the ultimate look at FAKER. All right. So thank you for joining me today, guys. All right. Of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell. We'll upload new videos. All right. And tomorrow we'll be looking at part 2 of the ultimate FAKER, which is going to be everything else from the 2000X line to the classic line. There are 2 versions of classics, to every version of MasterVerse figures I have, to Funko Pops, and of course the miniature figures. All right. Also to note, everybody, it's funny, we were just talking about this last week about the Blade character, the movie version of Blade from the MasterVerse line. I just got notification through Big Bad Toy Store that it's near. It's about to hit their radar, they should be getting it very soon. Blade, along with I think Wave 24, hopefully, which is Fangman, Orko, and Rizlor. And I got my notification about my King Hiss figure as well from the Turtles of Grayskull line that I pre-ordered through Big Bad Toy Store. And now Blade as well. So a lot's coming, everybody, and I cannot wait to review these amazing figures with you guys and unbox or semi-unbox and just have a great time. All right, so don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, so hope everybody has a great Tuesday. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Take care, and have a good one, everybody.